Good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started with the funding panel presentation this morning. We've got relatively short amount of time. We've got, obviously you can see we have a number of people up here. We've got about an hour, so we're going to have about somewhere between 5 to 7 minutes per presentation for people to just give you an overview of their programs, so what the funding opportunities are, and then you can certainly just see who the people are that are here, and you can try to find them later as far as having some one-on-one time with them. What we'll do is we're going to just start at the end, and we're going to work our way across. I'm going to also be the timekeeper to a certain extent, kind of standing off to the side here, so I'll let people know what's happening as far as that goes. And without further ado, please hold your questions, just because out of respect for time, we're just going to have to crank through a bit this morning, so bear with us as we rock and roll here. Thanks. Paul?
Yes. No, not necessarily. Okay. And I'll go down forward when I decide. Yeah, here we go. All right. Well, good morning. I'd like to start off, first of all, by thanking the SNRS for inviting me back one more time. This is among my favorite regions. It's my favorite region. There are a few people here from other regions, so I still say it's my favorite region. I want to start off by saying also that at 11 o'clock today, I'm going to be at the exhibit area. So if those individuals who wanted to get a one-on-one conversation, if you come by at 11 and you haven't signed up for any of the other roundtables, I'll be available there, and also at 9 o'clock Saturday, for those of you that are still around that want to get an opportunity to talk to me. So we're going to go through this roller coaster ride. Buckle up, because we're going to go through a little quickly. You start out, again, being from the government, I'm going to start out with one of these slides that you really can't see, but it's representative of what NIH is. NIH is built of 27 different centers and institutes. For those of you that have talked to me while I was here or heard me in the past, I always talk about NINR's strategic plan, which is what guides us in terms of the type of research that we fund. Each of the funding institutes or centers also has a strategic plan. One of the things that came out of the conversations that I've had here so far this week is that how do you actually match your interest to a particular institute or center for funding? So one of the things I want to make you aware of is that not only should you be aware of NINR's strategic plan, but you should also familiarize yourself with the strategic plan of other institutes and centers that may overlap with what you do. As you know, NINR is not disease-specific, it's not organ-specific, we're not age-specific. We cross the entire lifespan. So there's a lot of overlap with other institutes and centers at NINR, which also allows the opportunity for co-funding. And people thought that that was quite interesting in one of the sessions yesterday, the concept of co-funding. So I wanted to make sure I talked about that a little bit in the brief time that I had this morning. When you submit your application, one of the things you have an opportunity to do is submit a cover letter. And of course, being a representative of NINR, I'd like you to ask to have NINR as your primary institute, but you may also want to consider adding another institute as a dual institute for co-funding consideration. What we have often is an opportunity to prime the pump, or prime the funding pump. So if you can get more than one institute interested in your research, sometimes we can go over and convince them to give us a little money to help us get this meritorious application funded. So that's extremely important. The other issue with that is that we have a multitude of offices at NIH. OBSSR, the Office of Behavioral Biomedical Research. We have the Office of Dietary Supplements. We have the Center for Women's Research. None of those offices under the director can fund grants directly, but they co-fund. So if you have a research project that focuses on a female population, then you may want to contact one of my counterparts at that office to determine whether or not they would be interested in your research also. So enough of that. I'm going to move on quickly to some of the other areas that I thought is important. You've heard our mission multiple times. I'm going to say it again just because I have to. It's to promote and improve the health of individuals, families, communities, and populations. We support and conduct clinical, basic research and research training on health and illnesses across the lifespan, as I mentioned. This is a copy, and you can go by the exhibit booth and actually get a hard copy of our latest strategic plan. It was released in 2011. You can also download it off of the website. It's a very important document for NINR, and each of the institutes, they have a strategic plan on the website. So you can download ours, download another institute to determine whether or not there are overlapping interests, and a contact program in the institutes that you have an interest in. Okay, going into our strategic plan a little bit. NINR, as you know, we're all about advancing nursing science, and we support research that focuses on the promotion of health and the quality of life, engages individuals as active participants in their own health. We are interested in research that's going to improve health outcomes overall. Okay, the 5 focus areas that NINR tries to stay true to, and we do a pretty good job in my opinion. We invest in health promotion and disease prevention, advancing the quality of life, and that's symptom management for us, palliative care, and end-of-life care. NINR is designated as the lead institute for end-of-life, and we are extremely committed to training future nurse scientists. NINR is second in overall funding for training. And I've had many comments since I've been here that we actually do have the smallest budget. That's correct. But percentage-wise, we provide more for training our population than anyone else. Okay. Well, as I stated, I will be at 11 o'clock at the exhibit area if you want to have specific questions with me, and tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. There's many more things, and as always, I'm going to provide the full slide deck so that it can be placed on the SNRS website, and you'll be able to get that as the conference is concluded. I'll make sure that that's available. Okay?
Okay. Hi, I'm Tricia Pierce, and I am honored to be here representing the American Nurses Foundation. I am the old chair, not chronologically, of course. I was the chair in 2010, and I was asked to represent ANF today because the current chair and vice chair are not here at the meeting. So I said, of course, I'd be happy to do this. The current chair is Jerry Lobiondo Wood, and the vice chair is Robin Knoebel at Duke. ANF serves nurses at all levels. You don't have to be a PhD type to get a grant from ANF. These are small grants that range, I think the bottom right now is $5,000 up to about $20,000. Last year, 29 awards were granted, and the average rate is 1 in 4, which is a whole lot better probability than what you can get in some of the larger grants. The priorities for funding include the ANA-specific research priorities. They have highlighted the NDNQI data for people who want to do research using those data. The process involves a peer review process that's pretty strenuous. Each applicant receives 3 reviews, 3 independent reviews that are then merged. We look at the investigator's ability to conduct the study that they're proposing, the methodology that they're using, theory development and innovation. The big thing is that you have to be a registered nurse to be a principal investigator, but you can be a BSN or higher level education. If you are doing a project research related to your student work, it would be required that you are at the point that your chair or whoever is supervising, we have so many different models these days, whoever's supervising you as a faculty member, whether it's your dissertation chair, your scholarly project advisor or chair or whatever name that is, has to write a letter stating that you're ready to execute this project, that you've been approved by committee or whatever process is in your school. The main reason for that is funding with A&F is 1 year. So the cycle is, the date is May 1. You will find out in August whether you receive an award or not. The funds are distributed in September, and you have 12 months to basically finish whatever it is you propose to do. So it's a very quick sort of turnaround as well. Everything is electronically submitted at this point. I think that was my goal when I was chair, that if I saw one more piece of paper, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. Because I think the expectation is we need to be electronic. So it's all electronic now. One of the cautions that we have serving on this committee is that oftentimes there's a whole list of these grants on the web, and someone might say, well, I want to be considered for this award. If you indicate that, then that's the only award you'll be considered for. So a better way to approach it is to say, I think that my idea would match best with this. However, please consider me for all the awards, because these are scored and then put in order of scoring from, best score to lowest score, and then the awards are settled in that manner. So, if you have a really good score and you say that you want to be considered for all the awards, and you will be considered for all of the awards. We do provide comments back, pretty extensive comments for those people who want to revise and resubmit later. My A&F award was during my dissertation studies, and I have to tell you, it made a huge difference to me when I got that letter back that said I'd gotten this award, and I thought, wow, somebody thinks I'm doing something that has some scientific merit. This is really awesome. And it was it really catapulted me into the area that I was looking at, and I think served very well in getting NIH funding right afterwards. So I was really pleased with that, and I think that there are a lot of people in that position. Everything is online, so if you have questions, you can go online and look at it. I'll be at the conference until the end of the conference, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions. And thank you very much. We have 2 SNRS awardees this year. These are their pictures, Susan Brantley Brimstone and Roseanne DeMaria Gillum. You do not have to have a hyphenated name to get an A&F award. But these are 2 of our awardees from last year, so your picture could be here next year. And thank you very much.
Good morning. We're on sort of a speed dating rotation here, so I'm going to flip through my slides pretty quickly. I think we all have probably more slides than we need for our 5 minutes. I'm Suzanne Prevost. I'm the current president of Sigma Theta Tau International and also a longstanding member of SNRS. And I'm wondering, how many of you are members of Sigma Theta Tau? Excellent. And how many of you, somewhere along the way, have received a grant from Sigma Theta Tau? A fair number, okay. So this is a readily accessible source of startup funding for your programs of research. I just want to emphasize that, again, you don't have to, like Pat's program, you don't have to be doctorally prepared. We fund a lot of students at the master's, PhD, and DNP level. So consider this if you're a student looking for small funding to support your beginning program of research. We started funding nursing research grants in 1934. Our first grant was to Alice Malone for $600 back in 1934, which in today's dollars would be about $8,500. We give out about $125,000 per year in a number of small grants ranging from $2,000 to $12,000 apiece. In most years, our funding rate is about 20%, but it varies by program. I'm going to share with you a list of co-sponsored grants that actually have a much higher funding rate than that. So why would you pursue a grant from Sigma Theta Tau? We have a long, credible history. Again, we're open to both seasoned and novice researchers. It provides opportunities to collaborate with other members of Sigma Theta Tau, particularly other members around the world that may have research interests common to your own. So some of the grants that we offer are the Joan Stout Award, which is currently focused on simulation research. How many of you are using simulation in your programs? Most of you? Okay, this is a good source of funding to test simulation. We have the Rosemary Burkle Crisp Award, which is a $5,000 award. It's currently focused on women's health, pediatrics, or oncology. And note that preference is given to applicants who reside in Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, and Tennessee. You don't have to be from those states, but special consideration is given if you are from those states. Our Virginia Henderson Clinical Research Grant is a grant that's awarded annually, $5,000 grant, any clinical research topic. And our small grants program is the one that is most long-standing, and probably many of you have been involved with over the years. We give out about 10 to 15 of these each year. Currently, the funding rate is $5,000 maximum. The application deadline is the 1st of December, and you receive the funding in June. Now, I mentioned our co-sponsored grants. One of the ways we try to extend the scope of our research funding is by collaborating with other agencies to co-sponsor small grants, and you can see a list of some of them here. I will tell you, for these grants, we receive considerably less applications for many of them. Some of them we may only receive 1 or 2 applications per year, and most of them are in the range of $5,000 to $10,000. As you can see, 2 that are coming up fairly soon are the one for HIV/AIDS research is due the 1st of April, and the one for perioperative nursing topics is due the 1st of April as well. The Alpha Eta research grant is a unique one that is specifically intended to support projects where there's a partnership between a North American nurse and a nurse in Africa. So if you have any colleagues that are doing work there, bring that to their attention. Also, our collaborative grant with the Hospice and Palliative Nurses Association has an April 1 due date, and our SNRS grant has an April 1 due date, and particularly want to highlight our collaborative grant with SNRS, which has an April 1st due date. Most of these collaborative grants that are sponsored by 2 associations have a requirement that the applicant be a member of both Sigma Theta Tau and the partnering organization. Jean Jenkins, is she here perchance? Does anyone know? Okay. She's from UNC Greensboro, and she was our SNRS grant recipient last year. We have a new grant this year that we're particularly excited about, our Global Nursing Research Grant. It's intended to focus on global health disparities, something that relates to that topic. And this is a $12,000 grant that will be awarded for the first time this year, and the due date is May 1st, and it will be, the funding will be available in November at our biennial convention. We have a mechanism through our website that we can link you with a mentor who can assist you with writing abstracts and/or proposals. And so that's something that you may want to check into. And another thing I want to highlight is our International Nurse Researcher Hall of Fame. This is a program that we've had in place for about 3 years now. Each year at our International Research Congress, we induct new candidates into our Hall of Fame. And this year we will be inducting 20 new nurse researchers into the Hall of Fame, including 2 from the Southern Nursing Research Region, and as well as researchers from 6 other countries. This is specifically intended to recognize nurses that have a program of research that has had national or international impact over the course of their career. And if you have a colleague or if you are interested in pursuing nomination to the Hall of Fame, those applications are due in early December. Finally, I just want to remind you that all of our grants are made available through the donations of our partnering organizations and our members. So I challenge you to consider paying it forward. Any of you that have received a small Sigma Theta Tau grant along the way, please consider what you might do to invest in the next generation of nurse researchers. Information is available on our website, or I will be here if you have additional questions. Just close this one.
Okay, good morning. I'm Sandy Dunbar, and I'm from Emory University in Atlanta, and I'm going to present a little bit of information about American Heart Association grants. And I don't work for the American Heart Association, but I've been a volunteer for a very long time and involved in the Council of Cardiovascular Nurses, reviewed grants, and also been funded by the American Heart, and I can tell you it's a wonderful resource for you. The American Heart has invested more than $3.5 billion in research since 1949, and they've supported 13 Nobel Prize winners, and I can't wait to see the day when we can say they've supported a nurse Nobel Prize winner. They're second only to the feds in funding cardiovascular and stroke-related research. Now, here's some questions that you might be thinking about. I might be thinking about if I were in your place. What kind of research? Does it matter what affiliate I'm based in, and what kind of early career program is available, and then who reviews my application, and then what % of AHA grants are funded. AHA has 2 programs. One is at the national level, and then one is at the affiliate level, based on the state that you live in and you're applying from. And just so that you can see, most of SNRS member schools would probably apply to the Greater Southeast affiliate, but some are also in the Southwest affiliate, and then some in the Great Rivers affiliate. So you have to kind of go on their website and figure out where you live, and then that will tell you which affiliate that you might apply to. Just so that you are aware, what kind of research does AHA fund? Now, before you're tuning yourself out and thinking this has nothing to do with you, let me just ask, do you work with a patient population that has a heart, a blood pressure, heart rate? Are you studying risk factors related to nutrition, physical activity, tobacco and smoking behavior? Maybe you're more interested in depression. Maybe you're interested in caregiving. And we know that elders who are in caregiving roles have 2 to 3 times a greater chance of developing a cardiac event than those of the same age, same risk factors who are not in caregiving roles. So I think that the point I'm trying to make kind of goes back to what Dr. Vicki Kahn was talking about, is that we have to be creative in how we frame our grants and how we look at potential funding sources. So I just give that to you as an idea to think broadly about whether your topic could be submitted to the American Heart for funding. If it relates to cardiovascular function, disease, or stroke, or is in the clinical, basic science, bioengineering, biotechnology, or public health area, then you're probably in. Programs are in two areas. One is training, so training scientists, and you can apply for a predoctoral fellowship, which is similar to the NIH F31, a postdoctoral fellowship, similar to NIH F32. There's an excellent clinical research program, which is available to nurses who are prepared at the master's level. So if you're a doctoral student, you can apply for clinical research funds, and then this faculty to fellow, ignore that, that's just for physicians. And then the investigator-initiated program, you have a beginning grant and aid. We have a scientist development grant, which is an excellent program. It's very similar to a K award. So if you can structure a training and research project around something related to cardiovascular, this scientific development grant is excellent, and it's a 5-year award. And we've been fortunate to have someone at Emory receive this, and it's a great buyout of time plus research support. We have the Innovative Research Grant and then the Grant in Aid, which is for more established investigators looking for pilot studies. There are some focused partnerships, just like Sigma Theta Tau has, if you're interested in stroke, myocarditis, or pediatric cardiomyopathy. But here's one I really want you to pay attention to, a focused research partnership for someone interested in a postdoc related to gerontological nursing, and it is between the AHA and the Hartford Foundation. So this is just for nurses, and this is very exciting because this is the first time. AHA is very multidisciplinary, so this is the first time we have something for nurses. So you can go on the website and you can look at these programs. I just wanted to share this grid with you so you can see the amounts. So a pre-doc is $22,000 a year for a stipend, postdoc $39,000. The clinical research program I mentioned, which is available for those with a master's, is $50,000 to $75,000 a year. That's a great opportunity, and you can get that for 2 years. The Scientist Development Grant, as I mentioned, you cannot be more than 4 years since your first faculty or staff appointment. So again, if you have completed your doctorate, done a postdoc, and you're ready for that K-type a mechanism, look at this Scientific Development Grant. And just so that you can see the percent of applications that's funded, pre-docs close to 24%, the scientific development grants close to 15%. So these percentages are pretty good. You know, and they're competitive. There's no question they're competitive. So it has to be a strong scientific proposal, good mentorship, but they are definitely possible. They're reviewed by people in study sections that look at basic or population, those epidemiological, or the clinical. So this is new. They used to lump them all together. Now they're breaking them out, and this is good that you would have clinicians, clinical scientists reviewing the clinical, the basic, looking at the basic. And nurses are on these interdisciplinary study review sections. So it's a more fair process now. And I'm done? Okay, sorry. Okay, so just remember, it's not just limited to adults, and you do have to join AHA. The membership fee is not that much, and there is a great website. So look at that. And I just will mention, I looked last night, and the next set of deadlines will be in July, but the exact date is not posted yet. Okay, so look at it, and good luck with your funding.
Good morning. I'm Elizabeth Reif Snyder. I'm the chair of the Grants Committee for Southern Nursing Research Society, and I just wanted to give you a brief overview of the grants that Southern Nursing Research Society does award, and I also want to invite you to think about becoming a member of the Grants Review Committee. For the committee, we do like to have people who, of course, have a PhD, are experienced, and have had some research background, because we really review all grants. We do not have any specific type of grants that we are looking for. We take qualitative to quantitative. We take all ages, all conditions. It's really wide open. And currently, as the chair, I've identified a need for some more people who are expert in biobehavioral research to be on our committee, because when we get grants with a specific approach, a very biobehavioral clinical approach, it helps to have an expert reviewer in that area. And every so often I do ask, send it out for ad hoc review, kind of like pull in a special person like they do on NIH reviews to say, please look at these specific grants. So I like to have a really big, wide, diverse committee, because then we can have a lot of people give us input, and whoever submits gets 3 reviews. We make sure to give those comments back. And generally, our reviewers tend to really be consistent and close together, and so you can get a good flavor of how your grants are reviewed. But we basically offer 2 types of grants. We offer grants for students, PhD students, who are working on their dissertations, and we also offer 2 grants for faculty. We need to say regular members, because they do not have to be faculty, but they have to have a PhD and be in some type of position. The dissertation grants, one is awarded solely by SNRS, and then the other one is in a partnership with the Council for Advancement of Nursing Research, or CANS. And so those, fall and spring for each, like one's in fall and one's in spring. The same thing with our research grants. One is totally sponsored by us, and the other one is in collaboration with Sigma Theta Tau. And once again, we have a fall and a spring submission time. Our dissertation grant that's awarded by SNRS is up to $5,000, and it's March 1, so they should be coming in today. And they are all submitted electronically to the SNRS management company online, and we review them online. Everything is pretty much done electronically. The one for the CANS is due September 1st, so 6 months apart there. The dissertation grant, you have to be a student, regular or a student member when we receive the application, be enrolled in a research-focused doctoral program at a college or school in the Southern Nursing Research Society. You have to have defended your proposal. Once again, we want to be sure that you can actually carry out the research when you get the money. And it's the same thing with CANS. All of those above apply, plus you have to be a member of CANS as well as SNRS. There's a $50 application fee. And once again, like I said, you have to apply online. The SNRS research grant for regular members, we can support or promote new investigators. Occasionally we get seasoned investigators, but one of the criteria is that you need to have received less than $30,000 in research funding in your career in order to apply for this grant, because we really do want to be seed money. It's up to $7,500. Due date is October 1. Once again, you have to be a member, and it's if you've never been on a SNRS grant either as a principal investigator. So we really are aiming for the new researchers, not necessarily new faculty, but somebody maybe who's been in education for a while and wants to get some research going can apply for this if they've never received an SNRS grant before and they have not had $30,000 before in research funding. The Sigma Theta Tau grant that we partner with, it cannot be conducted as part of an academic degree, so if you're a faculty member who is also a doctoral student, you really wouldn't qualify for this grant. You need to go, think about the dissertation grant. It's up to $5,000, due April 1. Thank you for pointing that out. And you have to be a member of both Sigma Theta Tau and SNRS. And this one you apply to Sigma. You do not apply to SNRS. And what SNRS does with Sigma, we provide 3 reviewers, and Sigma provides like 3 reviewers. And so it's reviewed by a joint committee, and I understand that the reviews are pretty consistent. We're all reviewers across the nation. So that's basically how these grants work. And if you want any more information, please go to our website. I have posted the Grants Committee report online, and so you can see who the past 4 winners are from this last funding round, and how much money they received and what their topics are. And I once again encourage you to contact me if you're interested in being a member of the Grants Committee and you want to review grants. It's really a good experience to, sort of calibrate yourself and get ready for, possibly NIH grant reviewing. Thank you. Get you out of here.
Good morning. I'm Beth Collins Sharp from ARC, and where I'm the Senior Advisor for Women's Health and Gender Research, as well as Senior Advisor for Nursing. And I'm joined by my colleague Kish Wadhwani, who is Director of our Scientific Review. We're going to run through these slides pretty quickly, but first, as a government agency, we need to tell you that we don't have any conflicts of interest. There are some handouts available for you. If you didn't happen to get them, they were by the door, so that we can run through the slides, but we will also post these slides as well. One handout that's not there but is posted down by the front desk is information about our summer fellowship program. It used to be a summer intern program. This year, HHS has turned it into a fellowship program, so that you need to be in graduate school, but if you want to come and spend no more than 89 days at ARC and be an employee of ARC and experience it, I encourage you to take a look at that. Also, just in case I don't get to emphasize it enough at the end, if you're interested in serving as a peer reviewer on any of our study sections, please feel free to email either Kish or myself, and we'll put your name in the pot. Kish has been a driving force between getting nurses on all of the study sections, including chairs of some of the study sections, and so we'd like to keep that momentum going. ARC is the Agency for Health Care Research and Quality. We are not the Agency for Health Research. That would be our colleagues at NIH. That's an important distinction to make. We are more interested, when you look at the spectrum of research, at the applied research, the effectiveness research, research in the real world, where we talk about healthcare services. We are patient-centered, not disease-specific, and we focus on both services and delivery systems. And we also include production and use, dissemination of evidence-based information within our work. We have 6 portfolios. This is a little bit not quite the accurate picture because it shows equal weight here. In terms of funding and focus, our largest is patient safety portfolio, and comparative effectiveness, which is now called patient-centered outcomes research, is quite large. The health IT portfolio is very robust. Prevention and care management is very focused, and in those areas is very strong. Our smaller portfolios are values, and innovations is primarily conceptual. There's not a lot of grant making in that area. We do have training grants where we want to foster the next generation of researchers. We have a number of them, which I'm not going to go over, except for one, dissertation grants. We do have dissertation grants at ARC. So this may be interesting for you to take a look at, or for you to consider for your students. We are open for business. Funding cycles go up and they go down, but we are open for business, and this is where you can go to get more information about training grants. We have a funding pipeline opening up now in PCOR, Patient-Centered Outcomes Research training. And then we have our other training awards. The Peace Corps program officer is a nurse, just happens to be, and one of the other program officers, particularly for the K Awards, is named K. So it's easy to remember that. Okay, the research grants, in short, again, the funding has some stability, some volatility. We just have to be flexible. In your handouts is something about our funding limits have changed here recently for a short period of time. An important message is that we use essentially the same application process as NIH. And we announce all of our grants in the NIH guide. Application forms are similar, and then they're sent over to ARC for our own scientific review panels. We, like NINR, NIH, base our determinations on scientific merit and first, and then we have to think about whether this is a good match for our program. Of course, availability of funds is assumed. So key points, am I doing okay? Okay. Key points, talk with an agency program officer. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. And there are two areas that we wanted to point out for you today. One is that the bottom line problem for a number of grants is that they have not spoken adequately to priority populations, which is a legislated mandate for ARC, IRB, and human subjects and data monitoring plans. This is what our web page looks like. Here are our handouts. This is what our scoring table looks like, which is not dissimilar from others. And then last but not least, I wanted to spend a time letting you look at the difference between significance and impact, because I think folks are not always attuned to this. It's important that you not only have a significant issue, but that it has an impact in the end. That it's not just interesting gnats, as she was saying earlier. I think I'm going to stop there, and we can answer specific questions, and you can look at the slides later. How long is that? Okay, good.
Okay, so I'm Dr. Eric Hodges, but for right now, I want you to pretend that I'm Dr. Anna Altwhite from the VA. Anna was not able to be here at short notice due to illness, so she asked that I present these slides in her stead, which I'm happy to do. You can find her contact information on the bottom of this slide, anna.altwhite@va.gov, if you have any questions for her. So, the main things I think we should think about from these slides are that the VA is the largest U.S. healthcare system, significant numbers of nurses, and a very highly educated workforce. And here's a quote from the previous secretary: "The VA research program is the foundation for advancements in veterans' healthcare and represents the promise of a better life." So, what do you need to know in terms of funding? Well, it's the largest funding entity after NIH. Total research funding, $1.87 billion in 2012. Not too shabby, right? 3,000 investigators, 2,130 projects, over 100 sites conducting research. VA nursing research opportunities, nursing research initiative, they have investigator-initiated projects, career development awards, service-directed projects, special funding, VA quality scholarships. Of particular interest are just the way things work in terms of other agencies which you may be more familiar with. The Nursing Research Initiative is development of nurse principal investigators to conduct independent research, so it's similar to a K award through the NIH. Particular special populations of interest: PTSD, mental health, substance abuse, rural health, women's health, stroke, chronic illness, HIV, age and age-related changes, and deployment-related illnesses conditions. There are also career development awards. These are similar to mid-level program awards, transition awards, also in a sense like K awards, but for more like your folks in terms of research career. Service-directed projects implement and evaluate specific program and strategies to enhance healthcare quality and outcomes. The emphasis, again, is on applied, action-oriented research using established evidence to create and document real change within an organizational unit. So as some of the other folks have talked today, the real-world issues and really taking a look at what's happening, having an impact in care. There are nurse fellowship programs, pre-doctoral and postdoctoral, so students be aware of that. There's also Enhancing Academic Partnerships Program. It's a VA Nursing Academy pilot project that's ending, but now there's an RFP for a VA Nursing Academic Partnership Program again. So just be on the lookout for that. VA Quality Scholars. It's a collaboration among the VA, Dartmouth Institute, and RWJF CUSIN program. It's an interprofessional project for both MDs and RNs. There's a nurse fellows program with this, 2-year fellowship for pre- and postdoctoral nurses, 8 host sites. So if any of those look like they're places you might want to be or places that you currently live, be mindful of that. So for those of us in the southern region, Nashville, Birmingham, Atlanta, okay. Take-home message is that the VA provides opportunities for funding nursing research, for fellowships, and for multi-site research. So we're really looking at opportunities for funding, for fellowships for both pre-doctoral and postdoctoral scholars, and for multi-site research opportunities. These are some of the sites that you can go and take a look at. That's it for that one. Now I'm going to become Dr. Eric Hodges again. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. The question was just, could we post these slides on the SNRS website? And I think that's an excellent idea. I think those slides will be available to you, so don't feel like you had to jot everything down super fast there. Okay? Yes, we'll send the slides to you. Yeah. Okay. And now I am going to be talking about the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation Nurse Faculty Scholar Program. I'm an alum of that program, and just want to give you an overview of that. It's basically a career development award type of program, but it's dissimilar in some ways from the NIH and some of the other K-type awards in that there's a broader focus on not just research, but on receiving mentorship, leadership training. It's $350,000 over 3 years. It's for outstanding junior faculty. The criteria are that you be a registered nurse with a research doctorate in nursing or a related discipline, that you be a junior faculty member, usually at the instructor or assistant professor level in an accredited school, and within a position that could lead to tenure, that after you complete the doctorate, you be in an academic position that could lead to tenure for at least 2 years and no more than 5 years at the start of the program. You have to be able to identify one senior leader within your institution that will serve as your primary nursing mentor. And they're going to provide academic career planning to you, provide access to organizations, programs, and colleagues. Then you need to identify one senior researcher in the university with similar or complementary research interests similar to yours, but from a discipline outside of nursing. So for instance, for me, that was in public health nutrition. And another thing that's not on here is that you're also provided with a national mentor if you're selected for the program, and someone that can be an additional mentor for you to help guide you. Candidates must be U.S. citizens, permanent residents at the time of application. The key dates, the 2014 application process will be launched in late October of this year. Proposals will be due early in February. You can take a look at signing up for email alerts at the website here. And again, we'll post these for you so you don't have to jot this down super fast. Just to show you some of the diversity of the group that's here, you can see me in that bottom corner when I was a long-haired hippie, ponytail-wearing guy. And just a quick brief plug here as well is that for those of you that haven't heard yet, there will be a reception this evening for discussion about this program. It will be between 6:30 and 7:30 in the Pinnacle Room. So if you just take the elevators to P and go up to the Pinnacle Room, so 6:30 to 7:30 tonight, you can come and find out more about this program. Thank you very much.